Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Today I've got my hands on the Fujifilm 56mm f1.2. It's the R version, so it's not the WR, the one that's weather sealed that was released in 2022. It's the previous version of that lens, and it's my first time having my hands on a prime 56mm, and I want to test it out and see if it's still good and still relevant here in 2023. Test it in different scenarios and see what this lens is good for and what this lens is not suitable for. And I want to give you guys my thought, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I will edit all of the photos that I'm going to share on this video with my preset. Now I'm very excited to announce I just released my website, and my presets are available on the store. So if you have been following the channel and you're interested in getting yourself some Lightroom presets to edit your photos like I do, well, feel free to click on the link that's in the description, go check it out and get yourself some presets, and anything you do that could support the channel, I'm always super grateful. All right, now let's see what this lens is all about. All right, so we've come out to the city center. I have the 56mm f1.2 on my Fujifilm X-T3. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna test it out. I'm gonna try street photography, I'm going to do some portrait shots, I'm also going to do a little bit of video, and I'm going to try to see what this lens is good for. 56mm is the actual length that I think I prefer. I don't own a prime lens just yet, but if I was to get one, I would probably get a 50mm or 55 or something like that, because I figured that for me, it's probably where I'm the most comfortable. I do have a 16-80 and I have an 18-55, and I often end up with like a 50mm shot, because I feel like it's probably what suits my eyes the most. But this lens is probably best for portrait shots, and it's not stabilized, so I don't know how it's going to perform with video. But as far as portrait, it should be a very, very nice bokeh, so I'm looking forward to trying that out and also see how it performs as a street photography lens. All right, let's get on the streets and try to get some shots. So the guy on the bike just went by and I was able to catch him and capture him, so I think the autofocus works pretty fast. Now I've tried it at home, and in a silent room I could definitely hear the focus tracking, so it's pretty loud, and I think for video it might be a problem, but as far as I know for photo it's pretty good. Alright, we found that spot right here where the light is actually reflecting from the window up there, so I'm gonna try and shoot some portraits of Sam, who's gladly helping me out today with this video, so thank you for coming along. And yeah, I'm gonna try some portraits here and see how that comes out. So I was doing some autofocus tests right here on the wall, and it appears to be 40 to 50 centimeters where the focus starts working. If I'm closer than 40 centimeters, I can't get the focus. So that's kind of surprising. I think that's pretty far, but maybe I mean, I know it's not a macro lens, but I would expect it to be closer so you can do some more of a, you know, close detail shot. But yeah, looks like it's about 40 to 50, like that. That's the distance. And one more thing that I do want to check while I'm here is the video capabilities of that lens. If I was to use a 56mm lens for video, obviously it would be to shoot some B-rolls, some close-up, maybe some slow-mo shots, just to do, like, I'm not gonna do a talking head shot like this with a 56mm lens on. So I'm gonna try and shoot some B-roll, put a little thing together and see how it performs. The lens is not stabilized though, and the camera, the X-T3 that I'm using with the lens is also not stabilized. So I'll see if I can stabilize all that in post, and if I shoot everything in slow-mo, maybe that should work out. So let's see how it works. Alright, so I just got home, and then one more thing that I did want to try is, since I went out to shoot some photography in the daytime, it was a bright day, this lens is supposed to be really good in the dark or at nighttime or when there's not much light to work with. So I have a little setup right here in the room. I made it all dark and I have a couple lights out, and I'm gonna try to get some product photography, like for example a phone or a camera or something like that, and use those lights as the only light source in the room and see how the lens performs and see how clear the image comes out. So again, here on product photography, I'm still struggling to get the focus. I think I get too close to the product and it's like really hunting to focus on it, and I have to like give it space, and I have to be at least 40 to 50 centimeters away for the lens to actually make focus on the product. And also, once again, you can really hear the focus hunting inside the lens. So it's like mechanical focus and it's very loud. Hear that? Alright, so I want to round up my thoughts on this lens and tell you guys what I think it's great at and what I think is not so good at. First thing that I think is really great on this lens is the image quality, the sharpness. This lens is super sharp, especially on portrait photos. You have a very like buttery smooth bokeh background, and yet the model is in focus and sharp, and I really love the images coming out of that, especially for portrait. I think portrait is definitely 100% what this lens is made for. The autofocus I found is very accurate and very fast, so I didn't have any like problems getting the person I'm shooting in focus or the subject that I'm trying to shoot on the street in focus. The one thing though about the autofocus is that it's very loud when it's tracking the focus. So when you do video, if you were to do like a mic'd up sit down video where everything is silent, then it would be totally noticeable. However, if you're filming on the street with like sounds and noises and you're actually maybe having like music laid over, you won't notice or hear the sound of the autofocus. Now, one thing that I think is not so great on that lens is the range of focus, like the minimum distance that you have to be from the lens to get your subject in the focus. I was expecting it to be closer. I already mentioned that a couple of times in the video, but I was very taken aback by the results. I had to be at least 50 centimeters away from the subject for the focus to be made on the thing that I was taking a photo of. And that, I think, is a little far, and even if it's a 56mm, I could not get close enough to the subject as I wanted to. So that's one thing I thought wasn't so great and could be improved, and probably is on the newer version. Now I've also tested that lens for video, and I gotta say, I was pleasantly surprised. Definitely, it's not perfect for video, but if you're shooting some B-roll and you're like doing some slow-mo, you're able to slow down the shots and stabilize them so it's not so shaky. Remember, this lens is not stabilized, so in order for the shots in your video to be smooth and stabilized, you have to do it in post. And if you shoot in slow motion, you could definitely like slow it down, and that helps like getting the footage like in order. However, that's the only use I would see for that lens. But the footage though that I got, it was pristine. I really love that range of 56mm. It's great for B-roll. Also, the bokeh is great. You also get a lot of like light beams coming through the lens, and that gives like a pinkish arch like on the image, and that happened quite a few times today, and I am very surprised by that. I think it's very cinematic and beautiful. So this lens is actually pretty good for video, but it's specific, so you can only, in my opinion, use it for B-roll. I've also tested the low light performance here at home in a dark room, and I gotta say that the image comes out really sharp even in dark situations. Obviously, it's a 1.2 aperture, so it's made for dark environments because the aperture is so big that light comes in. So yeah, great for low light. All right, so to round up my thoughts, I would say this lens is actually a great lens, completely relevant here in 2023. I think if you're on a budget and you can't afford the $1,000 plus new lens that came out in 2022, you can get your hands on the previous one. It's still being sold, and right now it's sold at a discount. I think about $600 or so. You can find it brand new on the internet. So if you're looking for a prime lens in the 50mm range, I would definitely go for it. Now, if you can afford the brand new version of that lens, they probably fixed a couple of things that I think are not so great about it, but that always depends on your budget. All right, that's it for me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys in the next one next week. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe. Cheers.